Peace and shalom, Israel. Before we start the lesson, hit the notification button because we upload lessons every week and I don't want you to miss a single one of them. Like, comment, subscribe, and if there's a topic you would like for us to cover, we'll see what we can do. So until next time, cue the music. All praise to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And peace to everyone joining on this program. This is the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program. And as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's Holy Sabbath day. And this lesson is entitled Seals and Trumpets. We've gone through a pandemic. We're still going through it, technically. And we see a lot of trouble, some of us, we see there's different things coming on the horizon and not all good. Now, ultimately it's good because it's the fulfillment of prophecy, but it is bad if we are caught unprepared, prepared physically and prepared in our faith. And so we want to look at some of the seals and trumpets. Now, I'm not saying that the trumpets are blowing right now or anything like that. I mean, we are living in some of the seals, for sure, but I'm not saying that, the end is tomorrow. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that we have to have a preparedness mindset to just be ready for the things that are to come. That way we are able to do something about it. We're able to prepare ourselves. We're able to save ourselves a lot of mental anguish and vexation. Because a lot of times when things happen to us, one of the things that really destroys us is that when we don't know why something is happening, therefore we don't know what to do about it. We don't know how to we don't know how to respond to it. In fact, we react first instead of responding. So let's just go ahead and look into the Bible, look at a few things that it is saying that is to come, some of the things we're going through now, and some of the things that are yet to come. So with that, this lesson is Seals and Trumpets. Let's just dive right into it, right? Now join me in Revelation chapter 5, and I'm going to pick it up at verse 1. Revelation 5 and verse 1. Now let's take a look. And I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof? And no man in heaven, nor in earth, neither under the earth, was able to open the book, neither to look thereon. And I wept much, because no man was found worthy to open and to read the book, neither to look thereon. And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. Okay, so this is where we get the seals that we're talking about, and this has to do with the things that are occurring on the human scene, the things that we're going through, has gone through in the past, but that we're going through right now up to a certain point, right? So from there, let's move forward and go with me over to Isaiah chapter 5. Isaiah chapter 5. Okay, and Isaiah chapter 5, and I want to pick that up at verse 8. Read with me. Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. In mine ears, said the Lord of hosts, of a truth many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair without inhabitant. Yea, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield 1 bath, and the seed of an omer shall yield an ephah. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink, that continue until night, till wine inflame them, and the harp, and the viol, and the tabret, and the pipe, and wine are in their feasts. But they regard not to the work of the Lord, neither consider the operations of his hand. Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished. and their multitude dried up with thirst. Meaning, so if I just pause there just for a second, right? So he's basically saying that the things that are happening, that we are not taking notice to that. We're not noticing the things that are happening and how the Lord works. We're taking no notice to that. We're not getting it. It's not getting through our thick head, right? So if I just back up again, right? Because basically he's just saying that we're not going to prosper, right? If I go, if I go here, say verse 10, okay? And yea, 10 acres of vineyard shall yield one bath, and the seed of an omer shall yield one ephah. So these are just measurements, right? So it's talking about something that should yield a lot, but it's only yielding a fraction of what it should yield. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may follow strong drink. So you want to get up and get drunk, right? That continue until night, till wine and flaming. So you just get drunk all day. You're not even caring about what's going on in the world, right? You just want to drink and just forget about your sorrows and forget about what's going on. Basically what's going on. Verse 12, and the harp and the viol and the tabret and the pipe and wine are in their feast. Okay, all this music, right? So there's music and merrymaking. So, you know, we do our feasts and our celebrations, but he's not talking about the holy feast. He's talking about our celebrations, right? But he said in their feasts, but they regard not the work of the Lord, not to consider the operations of his hand. So we don't consider what he is doing, how he is operating, what he's doing right now today. Okay, this plague is no secret. This plague is not a surprise for those who paying attention. This plague is not something that's the Lord doesn't do that. No, this you think something this big on this grand a scale goes by or escapes the Most High notice? Please, come on, stop kidding yourself. These things do. These things come from him. These things he allows to happen. He makes them happen, or he allows them to happen so that his plan comes to pass. And guess what? Israel, you and I, we don't consider it. It is not in our thoughts. We don't consider, right? So this is what he's saying. We don't consider operation of his hand. In 13, therefore my people are gone into captivity, are we not? Right? Because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished. Meaning they don't have the truth, they don't have the word, and their multitude are dried up for thirst. Thirst after this truth, thirst after the faith, thirst after direction, thirst after knowledge of the Most High. That's what we're talking about, that thirst, right? You already been drinking all day, so it's not thirst after a drink. Okay? You've been drinking all day, right? Okay? Therefore, hell has enlarged herself, meaning more and more people are going to die, and open her mouth without measure, a lot, and their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoices shall descend into it. So, eat, drink, be merry, for tomorrow we die, as it were, right? So, just have fun, all that, but hey, it's all going to end. It's all going to come to an end. Why? Because we don't want to consider the operation of his hand. That's what he's talking about. And a mean man shall be brought down, and a mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. I mean, they're going to be brought down, okay? But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and God that is holy shall be sacrificed in righteousness. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin as it were with a cart rope, that say, let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it, and let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it. Okay, so prove it, show us something, right? Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Okay? Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. See, that's what we're doing today, right? Think about what's going on today in the world. I'm not saying you're doing it, but think about what's going on today. They're trying to normalize a lot of things that we see on TV. You know, we see a lot of alternative lifestyles. We see a lot of those, and they're putting it, and they're throwing it in your face, making that normal. Okay? Calling darkness light and light darkness, okay? Changing good for evil. Look at all the things that are occurring right now. It's been thrown in our face. That's just one example. There's a ton of other examples, but that's just one example. Look at everyone's out and they're making merry right now in their feasts and their celebrations. You know what time of year if you're watching this in the last quarter of the year, you know what's going on in most of these households. Calling evil good and good evil. See, these are the things we got to watch out for. This stuff written over 2,000 years ago, more than 2,000 years ago, and it's still coming true today, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun, right? We're all humans, and each generation, we do pretty much the same thing. It's just in a new generation. We just do it in a high-tech way. And that's the difference. Verse 20, let's see, verse 21. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Okay. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and men of strength to mingle strong drink. Okay, you want to get messed up, right? That's what they want to do right now. Everybody just want to get lit right now, right? I just want to get lit, and it's all about just going crazy. It's all about getting your energy and your mindset in a certain place so you can behave how you want, so that you can act a fool or be uninhibited, right? To give yourself an excuse to go do something evil anyway, because that's really that's one of the main reasons why people do it, right? It's one of the main reasons. Don't get me wrong, some people have something to drink just to relax, chill, and it causes no trouble. Doesn't bother anybody. But can you say that's everybody who drinks? You can't say that's for everybody, right? Just like I'm not saying everybody who drinks cause trouble, starts fight, and go commit sin. I'm not saying that. I'm saying no, that doesn't happen. What I'm saying is that a lot of people, you know, personally, a lot of people get drunk and you know they're nothing but trouble. Period. And then you know they get drunk because now they want to do whatever it is what that was on their heart to do anyway. And they want to say whatever was on their heart to say anyway. Okay? That's it. It's just an excuse. It's just an excuse. And you know it and I know. We both know this, right? So that's what they want to do. All right? Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine and the men of strength to mingle strong drink. 23. Which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. We do that. You see that in the justice system too. You see that in just some people be completely in it. I'm going to go both ways on that coin, right? I'm going to go both ways so nobody can get all upset. There's some people, okay, that get prosecuted and are in jail and everything only because the defense didn't do a good job. There are people who are innocent and they go to jail just because they had a public defendant or someone dropped the ball. They didn't prepare. They did not make a compelling argument. Right? Something just wasn't quite prepared. So people are innocent, but hey, you persecute someone. You persecute someone and they are innocent, right? That's an evil thing. The opposite is also true. Guilty people have gotten off. Okay, I want to address the other side so no one can really say anything. I want to address the other side. Guilty people have gotten off too. So the question is that justice? Which justify the wicked for reward, okay, just got to have enough money, and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. Therefore has the fire devoured the stubble, and the flame consumeth the chaff, so their root shall be as rottenness, and their blossom shall go up as dust, because they have cast away the law of the Lord of hosts, and despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. They despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. There's many, many, many evils out in this world. A lot of things that are just have you shaking your head. Some things that are inexcusable. And yet we have to live with it. And yet we have to deal with that. These are the things that we have to do. We have to recognize this evil. Let's continue. Join me over in Revelation chapter 5 again. And when you get to Revelation chapter 5, we're going to go to verse 7. Revelation 5:7. Read with me. And he came and he took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. See, that's a self-interpretation right there, which are the prayers of the saints. And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. So this is the Messiah redeeming all of Israel, right? Redeeming Israel out of redeeming all of Israel out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, wherever we are scattered. Wherever Israel is, we're scattered, spread out to the four winds. And he's there to save us and bring us all back, okay? So we're talking about the seals, and he was worthy to open up the book, right? And has made us unto our gods kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. We shall reign where? We shall reign where? Where's this going? To heaven. And we shall reign on the earth, because there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. What's the point of having a new earth if nobody's going to inhabit it? No one's going to be here. Okay, that's just learning something on your way to learning something, right? The kingdom is coming. Thy kingdom come. It is showing up. Okay? It's going to come. It's not going to look like what we have now, but it is going to be on the earth. The Bible says it multiple times, okay? More than once, okay? And I beheld, and I heard the voice of many angels round about the throne, and the beast, and the elders. And the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and thousands of thousands, saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power, and riches, and wisdom, and strength, and honor, and glory, and blessing. And every creature which is in heaven and on the earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him that sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb forever and ever. And the four beasts said, Amen. And the 24 elders fell down and worshiped him that liveth forever and ever. Are we starting to understand and get this picture, right? So now we're starting to open the seals. Okay, the Messiah. Okay, the Messiah, the Christ, the Mashiach. He's opening the seals, and these are some of the things that are going to occur, okay? Revelation. Join me to Revelation chapter 6. We're going to the next chapter, right? Revelation chapter 6, starting at verse 1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were, the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. And he went forth conquering, and to conquer. So he's just saying the things. Now, these are the things that are starting to happen, right? Now remember, this is after Roman occupation, right? Now this is John writing, so this somewhere after 94 AD, right? Somewhere around 94, something like that, right? When he was on the Isle of Patmos, right? So this is the things that start happening, right? This is what he wrote, okay? And these are the things that start happening in this particular chapter. 1 John 4 and 3, okay? 1 John 4 and 3. So this is start to happen, and it's like spreading, right? These things are starting to spread. He opened up the first seal, right? 1 John 4 and 3, and it says, And every spirit that confesses not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is in the world. So this whole spirit of Antichrist is just pervading the world, is just washing over, starting right there in the first century. And you have a lot of that going on right now, this whole Antichrist. And it's not just people, believe me, it is not just people who are pretending and parading around as Christ, right? Although there are some people doing that. Make no mistake about it. There are people who are parading around and pretending to be Christ. But it's not just that. There are some people who don't like Christ. Because anti is against, right? So there's some people who say, "Oh, this Christ guy, Christ, he's fake. He's this, he's that. He's a Greek. Christ, you know, this white, ain't no blonde hair, blue eye guy. This white guy, Christ, and this. I mean, they just hate Christ. Christ, he just want to do away, you know, with Torah, and you know, no man can die for you. It sounds anti-Christ, sounds against Christ, right? Oh, this JC, he just want to do one of the JC, he want to get away from the sacrificial law. No man can do that for you. Oh, JC didn't do this, JC didn't do that. What do you hear all the time? Do you not hear these things? This spirit of Antichrist is out there. Go to some of the groups. Go to some of the social media groups when they're talking about there. It's just fighting back and forth and back and forth. Spirit of Antichrist is alive and well. Whether somebody's preaching a false Christ or presenting you an image of, a blonde hair or brunette or blue-eyed Christ or something, from that to all the way to, this Christ, this Jesus Christ, he's not Messiah. No. Some of them said he ain't even come yet. He hasn't even arrived yet. Has not even come. Not even the first time. Because they mock and deride and chide and say, he said he was coming back and it's been 2,000 years. He's mighty, mighty late and all that. So all the mocking and all that, you hear Antichrist. Am I not talking about Antichrist? Am I not talking about against the Messiah? This is what we're talking about. You see this all the time. It happens. It's happening right now. Let's go on to Revelation 6. Join me in Revelation 6, and I'm going to pick it up at verse 1. Let's look at it from here. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were a noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. And he went forth conquering and to conquer. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. Now, are we not killing one another like it's no big deal, right? Think over the last 2,000 years. Now, don't get me wrong. We were killing each other before that. But it has spiked. This idea has gone up. Okay? This whole idea we killing each other because our lives mean nothing one to another. This whole spirit out there. This red horse is alive and well as well. Look at the murder rate. Look at the wars. Look at all the things that are happening. And let's not forget the conditioning, the social conditioning. What are some of the top selling video games out right now? War games, first person shooter. Why? To numb you to the idea. To normalize it. To get us acclimated to this idea. So that to take a life, it means nothing. It is no big deal whatsoever. Is this not happening? Am I making this up now? So, the Antichrist and this whole idea of killing is it's becoming very common. Let's continue. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. The economy, anyone? And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Okay, so we're talking about economic. Are we not having economic problems right now? Even with this pandemic, did it not affect our economy? Did it not shut things down almost to a screeching halt? See, I like to use real life examples because when it's times of peace and prosperity and everything's going great or whatever, you talk about this kind of, it doesn't make any sense. People don't see it. I don't know. I don't understand. You don't get it. They think you're just making it up. You got to use a whole lot of hypotheticals. Now we don't have to use hypotheticals. It's happening. It's affecting your life. See, a lot of times people don't get it unless it affects them. A lot of times people don't get it unless it affects them, unless it's come knocking at their front door. That's when they pay attention. That's when it makes sense. Oh, now it all makes sense. But it has to happen to them first. Let's continue. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And the power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. All these things are happening, brothers and sisters. All these things. We're living in all these things. They start unfolding 2,000 years ago, right? And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God and for the testimony which they held. And for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, "How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth?" And white robes were given unto every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also and their brethren that should be killed as they were should be fulfilled. Okay, so getting into the fifth seal, right? It's starting to get there. And people are starting to wonder, well, when is all this going to happen? When are we going to be saved? When is the kingdom going to come? When is it going to show up? When are we going to have, what's the mark of the beast? When are we going to have the battle of Armageddon? When are all these things going to happen? Wait, just a little while. Some more people are going to have to be martyred. Some more of your brethren are going to have to go through what you went through. Talking about our ancestors and people of the past. Some more people are going to have to go through that. It's not done yet. Not yet. That's what's going on here. Okay. Revelation 6 and 12. I'm starting over here in 12. Revelation 6 and 12. It says, And I beheld, when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Because all these things are about to happen. It's all starting to unfold. I mean, the name of the ministry way early on, you got to go back 6, 7, 8 years ago. It was Unfolding Truth, right? Before it was changed to Fountain of Israel. But it was Unfolding Truth because all these things, as we learn, the truth begins to unfold. It didn't change. You just knew a little bit. Now you know a little bit more. So it begins to unfold. Okay? The truth doesn't change. You just went from first grade to second grade, then the second grade to third grade. It's just a build upon thing. You just build on what you know previously, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I know when you first come into the truth, you got to get rid of all that other stuff. You got to get rid of all the pagan and idolatry, the paganism and idolatry. You got to get rid of all of the Christianity. You got to get rid of pretty much all of it, right? Like 95% of it or more, right? You got to get rid of a lot of it. And then you have to digest everything back again, do everything all over again. Okay, so I get it. I understand. It's starting to unfold. More and more starting to reveal itself. You know, it says Israel, we're blind in part. Okay, we see through the glass darkly. So you're gonna get a little bit more and a little bit more, a little bit more. Just stick with us. Okay, just stick with the program. We're gonna start now. We know this started over in the first century, where you have when we talk about Matthew 24, when you start getting into the prophecy of really 70 A.D. But that just kind of kicked things off. That just sort of kicked things off a little bit, okay? Because Christ, the Messiah, he prophesied as well. He kicked some things off, right? But some people, they get to 70 AD and then they stop. Like, see, well, at least preterists, they say it's all fulfilled at that point. Okay, no. That's just where it all started. Okay, because Judah was finally scattered. They were the last group to be scattered, right? So, Matthew 24. And let's pick it up at verse 1. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple. And his disciples came unto him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. A lot of false Christ, right? For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Sounds just like those seals, right? Go back to those seals. Sounds just alike, right? Rumors of wars, and see that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Is what I'm telling you guys right now. Because some of these things are going to happen, right? It says, For a nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the end of sorrows? No, he said, these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay, this is the start. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Yeah, because you claim to be Israel. You claim to follow the Messiah, you're going to be hated for his namesake, right? 10. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. I've been betrayed. Okay, a lot of people get offended. I've been betrayed. Okay, by people I thought were brethren. Okay, I thought were brethren and stuff, and I've been betrayed in the past. It's happened, right? And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Okay, the love of many shall wax cold. Now we know, it's a completely different lesson. I was going to go down that road, but it's a completely different lesson. Just understand, the love of many shall wax cold. Just understand how the Bible defines love. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. That's key right there. He that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. How long do you have to endure? Until the end. When are you saved? At the end. Okay, that's when you're saved. You have to endure. And what happens if you don't endure? Okay. 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Then it's gonna come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. So he's giving a prophecy. When this happens, flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. So he's talking about 70 AD at this point, right? This is a prophecy. But pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day, because it's really, really tough. And then shall great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. And it was, and that's why people are still here. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ. Okay, so this is later. Here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall rise false Christs, and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch so much that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning coming out of the east, and shining even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. So he's giving us an idea, a sign. And he said, really, you're going to know what's going on because everyone's going to see it. It's going to be obvious, right? Because remember, look at all the deception. The first thing he says way early in the chapter is let no man deceive you, right after the disciples ask him those three questions. He said, let no man deceive you. There's going to be a lot of false Christ, antichrist, and all this. There's going to be a lot of that going on. And then he goes to the other signs, and he circles right back down to false Christ, false prophets. He circled right back around to people who will deceive you, right? And then he gives us a sign, because he's saying it's going to be obvious. When it happens, it's going to be obvious, is what he's saying. Okay, and so in verse 30, he said, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. From one end of heaven to the other. So he's saying there's going to be a sign, and you're going to know, because there's going to be great tribulation. It's going to be going off at that time. So it is coming. That day is coming. Go with me to Isaiah 24. Join me in Isaiah 24. And I'm going to pick this one up at verse 19. Let's pick it up at verse 19. And the earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly, shaken. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And then let's see what else is going to happen if we drop down to 23. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion, and in Jerusalem, and before his ancient gloriously. Okay, now that hasn't happened just yet, right? Because he's not ruling in Zion. He's not in the New Jerusalem, New Zion right now, reigning with all his ancients one in the glory and the 24 elders. What I'm saying is that all those things haven't happened yet, but everything, as you can see, is indeed unfolding. We see it's starting to unfold. It's starting to play out, okay? I just want you to start the clock from the first century. That's it. I just want you to start the clock from the prophecy, okay? Started from Matthew and started from Revelation, and then count forward and look at all the things that's starting to happen at an accelerated rate. Okay, so let's go. We're still in Isaiah. We're 24. I'm just going to back up to 24, starting at verse 1. Isaiah 24, starting at verse 1. And it says, behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and make it waste, and turn it upside down, and scatter abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest. As with the servant, so with his master. As with the maid, so with her mistress. As with the buyer, so with the seller. As with the lender, so with the borrower. As with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. Start understanding everything. It's going to everybody. In verse 3, and the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord has spoken his word. So all these things are going to happen, right? All these things are going to happen, and it doesn't matter who you are, okay? Because he's talking about, I don't care, bond or free, great or small, right? It doesn't matter, rich, poor, bond free, healthy, sick. Everyone's going to, in that day, it's going to be even. Okay, in that day when he starts dealing with people, it is going to be even. You do not have to worry about that. Right? Let's continue. Now let's look at some of the reasons why some of these things are happening. Why is all this happening? Why? Let's read some of this, right? So we're in 24. We're in 24. Isaiah 24, pick it up at 5. It says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because of what we're doing. Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore has the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Are we starting to get it? See, this is the reason why this is happening. This world has to be purged. And no, I'm not preaching hate or anything like that. I'm just saying he's got to put it into sin. He has to put it into wickedness. It has to stop. And this is the way he chooses to do it. But I'm also just giving you the reason why. Why is all this happening? This is why. The seals and the trumpets. The seals will be opened and the trumpets will sound. Matthew 24. Okay? These are some of the things that he said. Go to Matthew 24 and then we'll jump to Revelation. But 24 and 7 through 8. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. And all these are the beginning of sorrows. This is just the beginning. It's just now getting started. It's starting to ramp up. This is starting to ramp up. And hopefully your eyes are starting to open up a little bit and you're starting to see. And it's starting to all make sense. Starting to all make sense. Go with me to Revelation, right? I wanted to go to Revelation chapter 8 because we still got one more seal we got to get to, right? Because we got all the way up to the 6th seal. Let's go up to the 7th seal. Revelation chapter 8, first 2 verses. Read with me. And when he had opened the 7th seal, there was a silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets. So within the 6 seals, okay, they're talking about 7 trumpets, right? Are coming, right? Okay, so he opened the 7th seal, and there was a silence. Now let's look at a couple things, okay? Go with me to Romans 3, Romans 3 and 19, which reads. Now we know that the things whichsoever the law said is said to them who are under the law. That's us. That every mouth may be stopped and all the world may become guilty before God. So whatever we say about the law, your problem is with the Most High. Okay? Because if the law says something, that's how it is. It is what it is, as it were. It is what it is. You need to take that up with the Most High. Okay, so that every mouth may be stopped and that you be guilty. Bottom line is, if we read that book of the law and we say, okay, did you commit this or that? All guilty before the Lord, right? All guilty, right? So let's look at this. Let's look at this real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 20. I just got a few more and then I'll let you guys go. Deuteronomy chapter 20, and I'm going to start at verse 10. Deuteronomy 20 and 10. When thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. It shall be, if it make the answer of peace, and open unto thee, then it shall be, that all the people that is found therein shall be contributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee. And if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war against thee, then thou shalt besiege it. All right? So basically, if you... if you go in and say, look, it's kind of a peaceful takeover, then that's cool. They're going to serve you. It's going to be all good. It's going to work out. But then if you go in, it's going to be a hostile takeover, then hey, blood will be shed, right? So it's kind of saying that, right? Well, that's what it's saying. But let's unpack it a little bit more, right? Luke chapter 9. Luke chapter 9. And when I get to Luke, I'm going to pick it up at verse 1. Luke 9 and 1, which says, then he called his 12 disciples together and gave them power and authority over all devils and to cure diseases. And he sent them to preach the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. And he said unto them, take nothing for your journey, neither staves, nor scrips, neither bread, neither money, neither have 2 coats apiece. And whatsoever house ye enter into it, there abide, or stay there, and thence depart, and then leave later. And whosoever will not receive you, when you go out of that city, shake off the very dust from your feet for a testimony against them. So you're trying to go in peace. Like right now, you're trying to tell people, hey, the Most High is doing something. He's trying to get your attention. He's trying to get you back in covenant before it is too late. And if they don't want to hear that, shake the dust off your feet. See, far too many times we got brothers and sisters out there in their zeal. They go out and they want to teach people and they want to convince people and stuff like that. You're just supposed to tell them. That's it. You can't convince them of anything. Don't convince them. Don't condemn them either. Just tell them. And then shake the dust off your feet. You see the back and forth all the time. You see it right there in your own home. You might see it at your workspace. You may see it online in social media in these groups and stuff. You might see it I know I see it all the time, so I can only assume that you see it as well. And people going back and forth and back and forth, and they don't want to hear it. It's okay. It's no sweat off your back. Don't take it so personal. Not everyone is going to be saved. Not everyone is going to receive you. Not everyone is going to understand what you are trying to say. Now, let me go to the other side of that, because I do have a little bit of a frustration, right? I had a lesson called Apt to Teach, right? And the premise of that particular lesson is that not everyone is qualified to teach. Not everyone is able to teach, meaning they can't get their point across, right? So there's a lot of people, they do these drive-by scriptures, like in social media, they'll go by and they'll say these scriptures and this and that, not giving really any context, or they'll be ambiguous and mysterious, and people just have no idea what they're talking about. Then the next thing you know, they are condemning people because no one can understand their encryption. They have these little cryptic little sayings, these cryptic scriptures that you don't know what it is unless you have context. Or sometimes people get out and it's just off-putting. They go to the teach and it's just off-putting. It's like, okay, I can't learn from this person because it's just, well, it don't matter. Yeah, it does matter. It does matter how you present it. Because if you present it the wrong way, you could be turning off someone who is earnestly seeking, who is trying to be like a Berean, who is trying to learn, but then you right out the gate, you already offended them. You don't care. Oh, well, just do this, you do that. Well, okay, calm down. Like babes, kind of people like babes, you got to present it in a way so that they can understand. And now when you give them clarity, then you can say, okay, well, look, I took my time, I talked to you, I tried to explain, and you understand, but you reject. Okay, that's different. That's different. But you have some people out there who are trying to teach, and again, I am not trying to go at someone's helmet. I'm just simply saying, put it in the comment section below. Have you not seen this? Have you not seen this? Or you go somewhere and now everybody is a teacher, but don't have the skills to teach. They just run off at the mouth. They just have all they have is vinegar and just going at mad. They have all this zeal but no knowledge. Or they may have this knowledge but they're not quite apt to teach. I'll give you an example. Let's say, for instance, to some, depends on which generation you talk to some, Michael Jordan is like the greatest basketball player to ever grace the court, right? I know, just follow me for the example. I know there's some debate, okay? I get it. But when he stepped down from that and he tried to teach what he knows about the game of basketball, it didn't go so well, right? Because it's in him, he gets it, he understands, but he can't relay that to someone else. He can't show someone else what he knows, or they can't perform what it is that he's telling them to do. He can't translate that, right? He's one of the greatest players of all time, but not the greatest coach, right? But there's some really great coaches, right? And they didn't play so well, or some of them never played. So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, just because I'm saying someone's not apt to teach, it does not mean that they don't have the knowledge. They don't have the information. They have a really good understanding. They're just not equipped to transfer their knowledge or understanding to someone else without offending them and making someone all upset. That's what I'm saying. Competent, unconscious. Let's continue. Let's see here. Luke 14. Go with me to Luke 14. I've got the last couple of places and then we'll finish. Luke 14, I'm going to pick it up in 31. Or what king going to make war against another king senteth not down first and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000? Or else, while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage and desireth conditions of peace. Okay? So he can send somebody, or like an ambassador or something, and just hey, I want peace, right? Because he can be like, okay, I don't want no smoke with you, right? So otherwise, whosoever he be of you that forsake not all that he has, he cannot be my disciple. Okay, again, coming into this so that you can be on the right side when he shows up, okay, is going to cost you something, okay? Look at another video called Count the Cost. It's going to cost you something. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to cost you some of your money, some of your resources. It's going to cost you some emotional distress, some mental vexation. It's going to cost you something. It's not going to be easy peasy. In this world, ye shall have tribulation. That's going to happen. Okay, let me just go ahead and give you the memo now. That's going to happen. Okay, to varying degrees, depending on who you are, but it's going to happen to all of us. Okay, it's going to happen. But you have to endure until the end. Go with me to Jeremiah. Let me go to these last two places for you so we can get out of here. Jeremiah chapter 4. And I'm going to start at verse 19. We're going to do 19 and 20. Jeremiah chapter 4, 19, 20. My bowels, I am pained at my very heart. My heart maketh a noise in me, and I cannot hold my peace because thou hast heard. O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. Destruction upon destruction is cried, for the whole land is spoiled. Suddenly are my tents spoiled and my curtains in a moment. So all this can come to an end at any moment. At any time. Now, whether you see what happens is coming or not, your job is to be ready. Your job is to be in covenant. It doesn't matter if you move out of the city. It doesn't matter if you move out of the city and start your homestead and get your food going and everything, which is a good thing. And get your chickens and your cows and your gardens going and all that, which is a great thing, if you're not in covenant. If you are not in covenant with the Messiah, none of that matters. Let's just get that straight. I am an advocate of you. Hey, you going ahead and preparing yourself and starting your own homestead and doing all that. I support that. But not if you're not in covenant. It doesn't matter. Because someone in the city in covenant will still be saved in the end versus someone in the country not in covenant. You understand? Let's go to our last place, right? Last couple of places. Revelation 8, verse 1, and it says, And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was a silence in heaven about the space of a half an hour. And I saw the seven angels which stood before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. Now watch this. We're talking a little bit about trumpets, right? Jeremiah 4 and 20. Go with me to Jeremiah 4 and 20. Okay, what I read a little bit before, but we're going to do it a little bit again. Watch this. It said, Destruction upon destruction is cried, for the whole land is spoiled. Suddenly are my tents spoiled and my curtains in a moment. How long shall I see the standard and hear the sound of the trumpet? Now watch this when I jump down to 22. It says, For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void, and the heavens, and they had no light. I beheld the mountains, and lo, they trembled, and all the hills moved lightly. I beheld, and lo, there was no man, and all the birds of heaven were fled. I beheld, and lo, in the fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down at the presence of the Lord, and by his fierce anger. And thus had the Lord said, The whole land shall be desolate. Yet will I not make a full end. He has to get rid. This is a massive cleanup act, guys. Massive. For this shall the earth mourn, and the heavens above be black, because I have spoken it. I have purposed it. I will not repent, neither will I turn back from it. Are we starting to get it? These are the things that he is saying. These things are going to unfold. And then we're going to get all into the trumpets, and that's when things really get turned up. Then the last place, let's go to Job 5 and 12. 19. Job 5 and 19. And it says, and he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. 7 seals, 7 trumpets. If you remain faithful, if you remain in covenant, if you and I do what we are commanded to do, if you and I do what we are expected to do, you'll be all right in the end. I'm not saying you're going to be untouched, unscathed. Nothing's going to happen to you. I'm just saying that no matter what happens to you, if you are in covenant and the Most High opens up your understanding and you are faithful, in other words, you walk therein, you'll be saved from these troubles. In 6, yea, in 7, you will be saved, and no harm will come to you. Nothing lasting. If ultimately you are in covenant and you serve the one who has the keys to everlasting life, the keys to immortality, and will grant you access into one of those 12 gates, you're going to be okay. You're saved. You will be saved. You will be, I should say. You will be. If you endure until the end. If you and I will endure until the end, if you and I would get into covenant and stay in covenant. I'm in covenant now. My job is to stay in covenant. Do what I can to stay in covenant. That is the job. And then you and I are understanding to be opened up, and we'll understand these seals. With his blessing and the Holy Spirit. We'll understand that he will open up our understanding. And as I understand, I will make it known to you. We'll go through the scriptures. We'll search the scriptures together. When you join me week to week, we'll search the scriptures together. That's why I give you all these scriptures. That's why we go through them. That's why we break them down. That's why we go through its interpreting itself. That's why we break down and we go and look at other resources and we look at definitions and we do all these things. It opened up all this understanding for us. Come, let us reason together. All these things will happen. All these things will be made plain to you. All these things will be made clear to you. It's for our edification. This presentation has been about seals and trumpets. I hope some of you out there, anyone, got some understanding. Please put your comments down below. So until next time, search the scriptures, improve all things. Peace and shalom, Israel.